I'm Nick Smallman, and I want to show you how challenges in our everyday communication can affect our social well-being. I'm going to use examples from current events in the United States, and I've asked some of America's leading experts to help me. These films aren't about politics. What I want to discover is what these challenges are and what we could potentially do about them. When any organization is trying to solve a problem, it's crucial that all the group members have a shared version of objective reality. But what happens when a group shares an alternative version of reality? One that is dominated by confusion, rumor, and gossip. Welcome to the world of conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories are just a kind of unnatural overextension of the general human tendency to want to understand what's going on around us.
It kind of relates to what we call magical thinking in a way. It comes from childhood where, you talk to your teddy bear and you believe your teddy bear to be, alive in a way, or that the tooth fairy is going to bring you money, or that, Father Christmas is going to bring you presents. And it gives you a kind of magical sense of the world.
Intuitive reasoning, magical thinking, superstitious beliefs to begin with. If you combine that with distrust and suspicion of the government, a feeling of being left behind, and then of course a feeling of being, not being in control of your life, then you have a toxic cocktail where people then become susceptible to conspiracy theory.
But, when you believe in Santa Claus, you also believe in the monster under the bed and the monster hiding in the closet, right? Magical thinking isn't all nice and fluffy. It's really, really scary.
Survival instincts early on told us that we should distrust dissimilar others, right? We should favor our own small group, whether it's our family or a tribe.
Actually, part of our group identity is getting to the bottom of these conspiracy people. So we'll all go onto our group on the internet and, club together to uncover these evil monsters.
Why are conspiracy theories so prevalent in America today? What's going on psychologically?
America is arguably the king of the conspiracy theory. We've got a long history of what the American historian Richard Hofstadter in the 1950s called the paranoid style.
It's the function of paranoia is to organize reality in a way that increases your sense of safety. But the underlying intention, if you want to say, behind a delusional thought, to organize the world in a way where it doesn't feel chaotic and overwhelmingly helpless.
These things often will have like a tiny little kernel of truth. They always are self-sealing in the sense that they're going to tell you that this isn't true. They're going to show you evidence that this isn't true. They're going to tell you this. And then suddenly when that happens, instead of, counteracting your conspiratorial belief, it feeds into it, right?
When someone hears something that fits in with their ideological beliefs, telling them it's wrong may only make them believe it more strongly, in a reaction called the backfire effect.
So boom, they've got rid of the contrary evidence, reinterpreted it as a just even bigger conspiracy. And that's what makes conspiracy theorists, when they're deep down the rabbit hole, very difficult to reach. Almost by definition, anything you will tell them is just evidence for the conspiracy.
Trump helps to steer people towards the conspiracy theories that favor his position. And interestingly, conspiracy theories affect people of all educational backgrounds.
Partisanship makes it worse, right? Because you've created this whole class of people that you believe are trying to destroy America, or they're trying to serve their own nefarious self-interest.
8 years of the presidency of the first African American to have that office, Barack Obama had created a kind of hostility that Trump was able to exploit because he had been among the people starting this birth certificate conspiracy against Obama to claim he wasn't a legitimate president because he wasn't born in the United States. So he rode that wave.
This is unfortunately a feature of right-wing politics in the United States, that they will go after anyone or anything with any means without any scruples.
So there's already in the U.S. right now the idea that there's a conspiracy to rig the upcoming election by fraudulent mail-in ballots, for example, which is, of course, obscene and absurd because there's no evidence of electoral fraud in the U.S., but there's plenty of evidence of efforts to suppress voting.
There's also plenty of evidence showing that certain groups inspired by conspiracy theories are on the rise. For example, QAnon. More than just a harmless set of beliefs, QAnon has been listed by the FBI as a potential domestic terrorist threat.
The QAnon conspiracy theory spreads information about a mythical cabal of Democrats and Hollywood figures who supposedly are pedophiles and are simultaneously looking to take over the world in cahoots with a deep state contingent of bureaucrats in the federal government, all of whom President Trump supposedly is battling against.
There are several QAnon believers who are running for Congress right now.
Tell me, what are the consequences if this keeps growing?
We know that exposure to a conspiracy theory, if somebody reads about a conspiracy theory, they are then less likely to engage in politics. They're beginning to distrust official sources that have nothing to do with the conspiracy theory.
The threat posed by conspiracy theories can be reduced by better evaluating sources, a process that can be taught from an early age.
There are studies that show that elementary school children, 5 and 6 year old children, can be taught to use reason to evaluate the merits of an argument.
So what have we learned? Well, we've learned that objective reality is crucial if we want to be able to work together and solve some of our biggest problems. Because if we don't share that sense of truth, what happens? Well, we might not get vaccinated. We might not follow government advice and wear a mask or take other precautions that will protect other people. And we might believe that the earth is flat. So what do we do instead? How can we fix this? Well, I think number one, as with most things, it starts with education. Starting with children, but also not excluding adults, we need to teach people simple critical thinking skills and media literacy, so people can absorb, disseminate, and evaluate information correctly. Point two is we really need to strengthen, reform, and support our institutions so they are trusted once again. And point three, and I think this is kind of the most important, the First Amendment should not be in conflict with objective truth. One should support the other. But I think we need to, as a society, come back to some kind of culture of honesty, where honesty and that access to really important information is seen as crucial, not only for democracy, but for our peace of mind as well.